Hello and welcome back. I'm here once again, as you can see, in nature. I found this beautiful spot near a nature trail. This video might be difficult to understand, and for most people that listen to what I'm saying in this video, it might not make much sense or be that interesting. But this is not for you if you feel that way. This is a video for those of you who will be naturally drawn not only to click, but to stay for the whole message. This is a video for those who will resonate with the content, with the experience I'm sharing. I've gone through a lot. On the spiritual journey I'm speaking about. I've tried a lot of different ways, things, and each time along the path, along the way, I could find there was this state of inside of me that would sometimes suck me back into the story. I could feel before the story would grab me that there was some real progress that I was making. I could feel I was making ground. There was something happening. But then before the story would even start, I could feel a sense of fear settling in. And this fear would say, "Oh no, I'm losing it again." And for the first time today, in a long time, I had a glimpse of that. You see, I've been stable in my grounding the whole summer and a bit before. It's been pretty recent for me, actually. I've made this flip where at one time I felt as though the story I was and searching for the grounding, I was looking for that. I was looking for that grounded state. And now I'm in the grounded state. It is my experience. And for a while, I was somewhere between the two. I could be in the grounding and then the mind would take me, and the more I became solidified, stabilized in the essence of being, the less power the mind had to pull me back into it. And it's at that point today, actually, it's only today that I recognized truly that I live now my life in this grounded state, because I haven't had that experience of the mind trying to pull me back in for months now. And to feel the contrast of it, to feel it, an old pattern wanting to come in and suck me in, grab my attention. In that moment, I recognized that now I live in a grounded state, in my essence. So two things happened. First, I had a bit of fear because the pattern was there, the pattern of fear. I felt it coming on, and then I had a bit of confusion. And I said to myself, well, what is the state of being? What is right? What is correct? Is everything that I'm doing, is this new state that I feel like I've achieved, is it real? Is it what I'm looking for? Did I find something, or am I fooling myself? And as I recognized that this was the story, this was the voice of that old story, of the mind that's trying to pull my attention, I remembered the practice that I mentioned in a few videos ago of, I shouldn't say I remembered, it just dawned onto me, it just happened, it started happening, where I mentioned this in this video of dropping the past and not clinging to the future and remaining in the moment. So my body, because of the training and the habit that I've built of being grounded and constantly grounding myself, I dropped that story, both future and past, and once again I felt clean. I felt as though nothing, I wasn't bothered. This happening of the story coming in and wanting to grab my attention, it was very quick. It was maybe about 3 minutes. And for me, it was a real confirmatory sign that the work I've been doing, the progress I've made is in the right direction. Am I finished? I have no idea. I don't feel like it's the point. I don't feel like we're supposed to get to a point where we're finished. But I feel such gratitude right now. And I want to share with you my findings on how to find peace. When I first stumbled upon these teachings about the now, about the present moment, learning to identify the state of being within you. When I first heard about this, it was from a book by Eckhart Tolle, and The Power of Now and A New Earth. I actually read A New Earth first, and for me it was an extremely powerful experience, life-changing actually. And it's in that book that he explained it in a way that made sense to my mind, enough for my mind to have enough permission to start looking into it myself. Because at that point in my life, I was very depressed. Even though I had already had the spiritual enlightenment, I was very much in the old patterns of mind before I learned how to stop spinning the wheel. I laugh now because I recognize that no matter what I'm saying and what I'm about to tell you is going to feel too simple. So no matter what I say, there's a part of you that's going to want to hold on to your old way of being. And a lot of people that hear what I'm about to say are going to have a lot of doubt, too much for them to even try it. Most people won't even be able to recognize what I'm talking about, hence the laughter. But that's the way it is. I'm going to say it anyways. There's a lot of power in setting seeds. What I found for me, that's the most powerful technique, and I don't like giving techniques. This is not a technique. You don't do this. But it's difficult to use words and not use the word technique when I'm saying what I'm about to tell you. It's learning how to be. That's what I'm trying to say. Without past or future. Learning to live completely in the moment. And if you will, the technique is developing a habit of recognizing inside yourself when you're lost in a story about the past or lost in a story about the future. That's the technique, is to learn the habit of recognizing it And then when you recognize you're in a story in your mind about past or future, to return your attention to the moment. By listening, for me, listening was the most powerful way in, back into the moment. What do I hear? You get out of the past or the future by becoming aware of what's in the experience of now. The bird. There it goes again and again. The feeling of air going in and out. Noticing I can see my hands. They look very white. So by continually bringing my awareness, this is what I used to do. This is what helped me to ground myself. These are the types of things I would do that would help me to come out of the mind, out of the future or the past, because the mind is not a bad thing. You can use your mind to have you return to the moment. And because your mind is being used to bring you into the future or the past, the mind can also be used to take you back to the present moment. Eckhart Tolle in his teachings talks a lot about the present moment and just presence, being. For him, he, instead of using the word God, he uses the word being. And I've gone through so many different texts, books on spirituality, God, religion, and they all point to the same thing. They're all trying to have you realize that when you live in a state of being, when you're just being, that is what they're trying to say by God. When they use the word God, what they really mean is the state of consciousness that's simply being. And I could see clearly why they call it God, because when you are just being, the physical sensation you feel is as though your cells, every cell in your body is exploding with ecstasy. And you feel such peace and calm. The word grace comes into mind. Everything looks graceful. The trees that move with the wind, they seem as though they're dancing. It's as if you're watching a figure skater doing a routine and just dancing. It's strange, it's hard to explain. But the whole world, your experience of your world becomes this way. When you just can live in the moment, everything becomes amazing. You realize that every time you've been doing drugs or anything that you tried to do in your life has been you were looking for this. You realize only when you have it, when you can be somewhat stabilized in the state of being, that everything you've ever done in your life was searching for this. So I've cried so many times once I've realized this, that I just found, thanks to all the teachings of the past, what they call a state of God, what they call God. And the reason I'm saying this today is because there's a heavy energy of the mind today. So anyone that's watching this video today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, you may experience this as well. Your mind may be heavy in its stories. You may feel negative, you may feel things are not going well. You may be struggling with your mind. If you're depressed, today might be an especially depressing day. If you're going through any kind of a problem with your family, then any kind of problem, including family problems, really, things are probably very heavy on your mind today. But I can assure you that there's a way to still deal with what you call your problems. You can still deal with them. You can still move through your life and do all the things that you want to do. You can still live very functionally while living in the state of being. Because when you're just simply being, when you're simply being, anxiety, depression, none of these things cloud your judgment. There's no such thing as worry, anxiety. You actually become an alchemist. And the strangest thing is you become grateful for negativity. When you abide in the state of being, when you are in the state that they call God, when you are just being, negativity doesn't necessarily exist for you, but the experience of negativity still is shown to you in the same way that it was before you became grounded in your being. But the instant you recognize it, the instant it comes to you, because you live in an open state of being and you're not holding to the past, any negative feeling that comes over you fades with the past. Because one of the main practices of being is continually dropping the past. So any thought that comes to your mind now becomes the past every second that continues and that passes away from you. So this continual moment of living in the now, a negative thought or emotion doesn't have any power over you anymore, because you live in a state of yes. It's the state of rejection of those negative thoughts. When you live in a state of I don't want this thought, that clings to the past. It says I don't want this thought, and it carries it with it. I don't want that thought. Oh, I don't know. And then you're living in the past then. So past and future are the only barriers to you finding peace in your life and becoming free from all negativity, period. Because once you become grounded in the state of being, each time you have a negative experience, a negative feeling, a negative thought, it becomes an opportunity for you to practice dropping the past as it comes. And you feel so amazing the minute it just drops. You become, it confirms to you once again that whatever it is that you're doing, what you've done in the state that you found that's always been there, is really the most precious thing in the world. The now, the here and the now. Because in this here and now, nothing needs to happen. And everything negative that does happen falls away just like a cloud in the sky. It's hard to put into words. So return your attention to the now, to your state of being, and find peace. So I leave you with that. I want to just give it, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. Wherever you are around the world, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.